Hello everyone, this is John from Vulgarkin Studios, and welcome back to another installment in my mobile development series. This is going to be a continuation of the first video that I put out. When I recorded that, I didn't really plan it out or anything like that. I just figured out how to do some stuff and I wanted to share it with you, so there were some mistakes. And this is going to be an update for that video right there. So if you found that video, then hopefully you click the link to get to this one because this is the updated version. But I'm just going to go ahead and get to it. We are going to go through a couple of different apps. I've factory reset my phone, so I don't really have anything set up. I'm going to do all that in front of you today, so that way we can all be on the same page. So the first thing you're going to need is Termux. It's a Linux operating system that runs inside of a virtual machine. It's a Debian flavor. So that's what we're going to be using to do all of our development. And you're also going to want Droid script is just an API that allows you, well, it's actually more than an API. So it's also a full-fledged IDE, but we won't be using its IDE features. But it's an API that allows you to create apps on an Android device. So we're gonna go ahead and install that. I already have it installed, so I'm not gonna do that. You'll also want something called Droid Edit. And there is a pro version, which I recommend getting that. It disables apps as well as gives you a few extra features and stuff like that. But there is a free version, so go ahead and install that. And I'm sure you probably already have this if you use an Android, but if you don't, look for ES File Explorer. So yeah, this is just a file manager that is a lot easier to use for Android. Alright, so I also have a couple of different UI extras that I use, such as taskbar. That's what you see here. So if you really want to know about that, just leave a comment in the comment section and let me know, and I will make a tutorial series on those as well. But for now, let's just go ahead and open up Termux, and we're going to go ahead and go over to Google Chrome, where we'll be downloading a repository. This repository I put together that is just a basic default npm package, and you can read through the README. It'll explain everything. What this does, it just sets up a global environment for your npm packages, because without a rooted phone, npm cannot write to directories outside of Termux or Termux's home directory. So what we need to do is we need to create a section within Termux's home directory where we'll keep all of our npm packages, and we can access those wherever we need to, such as the Droid script directories. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the link to that repository, and we're going to come back to Termux. First of all, we're going to need to install a couple of different things. We're going to install with pkg install the Node.js program. We're also going to need Git, so we can pull down that repository, and we'll probably need Nano at some point. And if we need anything else, we'll just install it as we go. But for now, that should be good enough. Alright, so now that we have everything installed, we can go ahead and paste this in to clone the repository. I already know that I'm in my home directory, so if you're not in your home directory, you might want to type pwd, make sure, and just go back to your home directory for Termux. And this is a very, very tiny package, so it's not going to take very long at all for you to install. Once you have it installed, what we're going to want to do is we're going to go ahead and ls this out, and I like to keep mine in a directory called Devil. So I'm just going to go ahead and mv Devil modules to a place called devel. And then I'm going to go ahead and cd into that directory. And we'll ls that out. And you'll see a little green link called fix sync. There's a package that has some directory file path for node modules. We're going to go ahead, this script just fix that. It fixes that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and node and run fix sync. Right. We need to npm install first. So we're going to go ahead and just run npm I. And this is going to install all of the default modules that I've set up. This is just a couple of different things like Bootstrap, jQuery, all of the Babel and Webpack stuff that you're going to need in order to write in ES6. So all of that's pretty much set up for you. You can go through the package.json list and add and remove whatever you want from there, but this is just a bunch of packages that I use pretty much regularly, and I don't see any reason why you wouldn't end up using them as well. So I just went ahead and included the package.json file in this repository for you to be able to do that. Okay, word of warning too, sometimes npm will get hung, just depending on what kind of apps you got running in the background. Probably my screen recorder just did this to me, but it'll get hung. Just wait for a little while and see if it resumes, and if it feels like it's been too long of a time, just stop it and restart it. Sometimes clearing your cache will help too. So anyway, I had to restart it, and also I just noticed that I don't have the latest version of npm installed, so we're gonna go ahead and do that now. I'm gonna go ahead and npm at latest tag g. Okay, so now that we have pretty much everything installed, we can go ahead and run node on the fix sync, and bada bing bada boom. Okay, so now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to set up our bash rc script, or our bash rc configuration file. And this is something that's going to run every single time you open a new session in Termux. And we can export environment variables and that sort of thing here. So that's how we're actually going to be setting up our global npm location. But what we need to do is we need to create a symlink to that location. So we're going to use the ln with the s flag, the ln command with the s flag, on the environment variable prefix etc bash.bashrc, and we're gonna create that on a file called .bashrc, like this, and hopefully we'll be able to nano .bashrc from here, and we can. So now we see that we actually have a nice little syntax highlighting and everything going on with our with our configuration file. So from here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to go ahead and export a environment variable called node path, and this is going to be at home devel / node modules. And this will actually make a universal location for all of the node modules that we'll be using. And just to prove this, because I don't really feel like setting up a project from scratch right now, I'm going to go ahead and show you that the projects that I have in Droid script as they are right now don't work. So we will go ahead and just open up one, and I could sit here all day. It's not gonna actually load the app. It's just pretty much broken. So actually, furthermore, we could probably run it in debug mode and it'll give us an error, hopefully. Well, it's not giving us any errors, but it's not loading anything either, so we can safely assume that it's not actually working. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we are going to save this file, and I'm gonna go ahead and exit and open again. And so that should have actually exported the environment variable correctly. If we've done so, then this should work. And I'm eating my words. Well, let me investigate real quick. Not really 100% what happened right there, but as I said, depending on some of the apps that run in the background, you gotta play around with a few things. Obviously my screen recorder was interfering with something, I assume. But anyway, yeah, so my apps are working again, the ones that I had in that directory anyway. So that does work. The bash rc file is taking, so you might want to double check that a couple times. But other than that, that's how you set up a global npm modules or node modules directory that you can access outside. So I think that this video is probably getting a little bit long and confusing, so I will go ahead and end it here, and I will show you how to set up a project from scratch to make use of this directory in the next one. Thank you for watching.